Oh, they're thoughtful. Yeah, good.
I've been a serious or more serious photographer for the last 5 years. Yeah, I got into it seriously right at the onset of COVID. So right before COVID started in January, basically January 2020. And I bought a camera. I bought a Sony A7R4, which was a big camera to buy considering I wasn't very good, but I did. And I started posting stuff on Instagram. And fortunately, as a result of that, I started to gain some attention from some people online and some advertising agencies, and they got in contact with me, and as a result of that, I started to get some commercial work, and my account grew. But that's really how I began seriously. I've always enjoyed photography, but I didn't take it more seriously until then. Sometimes I have a plan. So now when I go out more and more, I have a plan, but I still let myself go and be followed, by my gut and be guided instinctively. Maybe I'll go out, with a plan, for example, to focus on subject separation and try and get multiple people in the same shot, but making sure that they don't overlap, so it's clearly identifiable for the viewer. Or maybe I go out and I look for creating silhouettes. So understanding, I need subjects that are in the shade, but they're backlit, and thinking about backgrounds where that might work. So I go out with a plan to some extent, but I also sometimes go out without any plan at all, just to have fun and see what happens. And that's part of what I enjoy about photography, is the unknown, is that you don't know what you're going to get. So initially I was really drawn to Barcelona as a city. It's my adoptive city. I've lived here for 30 years almost. I love it here. So my photography was sort of a homage to Barcelona. Barcelona's a beautiful city, but I even tried to accentuate that with some of the photos that I took. So that was my initial draw. I like to take pictures of things, like postcards, travel photography, sunrises, sunsets. I used to leverage that a lot with the light. And I still like that to a certain extent, but I'm less drawn to that nowadays.
Careful.
So apart from working commercially, I've really taken a keen interest in street photography specifically. And that's sort of where my heart's at the moment. First of all, one of the biggest pieces of advice that I got when I was first starting out was from a professional photographer, a relatively well-known one. And I said, hey, I'm just starting out, I'm in love with photography. Do you have any advice for somebody just beginning? And he said, take more photos. And I'm like, well, that's pretty basic, but he was absolutely right. The lesson really is to go out and shoot more. The more that you apply yourself and that you do anything, the better you'll get at it. So in terms of street photography specifically, I would say find some accounts that you like online, get inspired by what they're doing, go and try and recreate some of the stuff yourself. And then I would also say, which is something that I'm getting into a bit more now, and I should have beforehand, but I didn't, is study some of the greats. Looking at old photo books, old street photographers, or, they're really well-known. There's a lot of really well-known, incredibly inspiring street photographers that just blow me away, and it's their photographs that were taken, 50 years ago sometimes.
With their analog camera.
Yeah.
Without autofocus.
Yeah, without autofocus. Unreal. They didn't know what they were going to get.
Yeah.
So it's incredible. The gear's not unimportant. For those that say the gear's not important, I would have a bit of an issue with that. But at the end of the day, it's your vision that far surpasses your gear, right? 100%. You can take a photograph with a iPhone 8, and if it speaks to the viewer more than your photo taken with my Sony gear, then it's going to be a more emotive photograph.
Too busy. Too many people.
I'm going to do a better job creating an emotional response with the viewer. And so in that context, gear doesn't matter. Gear matters when you're working commercially, right? Gear matters to a certain extent when you need a minimum quality that's going to suffice. But in terms of telling a story, then the gear doesn't matter. It's all about your vision and what you can capture. So there was a guy standing here on the rail, and then I took his shot. I have two bodies. Right now I just got this A7C2, which is a full frame hybrid camera, really small, and I'm using this 40G prime lens that I really like. It's super light. I can put it anywhere, take it with me all the time. So I'm using that for fun and then also for some commercial stuff. And then I also have an A7R4 with 2 card slots and the higher megapixel count and all that kind of stuff, which is, you know, more of a pro grade camera. So I combine both of them.
Oh, perfect. That's it. I hope I